The song You Worry Me by Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats is tuned a half step down and is then capoed on the 3rd fret, which honestly I'm not sure why they did this, because if you're using a capo, it kind of defeats the purpose of tuning a half step down. But nevertheless, this is what they seem to be doing, or this is what Nathaniel is doing on his acoustic guitar. He's tuned his guitar a half step down and then has capoed on the 3rd fret. In case you're not familiar with tuning a half step down, you take the E string and you would drop it to a D sharp. I'm looking at my tuner as I do this. You would take the 5th string, that's usually at an A, you drop it to a G sharp. You take the 4th string, typically at a D, you drop it to a C sharp. Take the 3rd string, typically at a G, it goes down to an F sharp. You take the 2nd string, typically at a B, goes down to an A sharp. And the 1st string, typically at an E, goes down to a D sharp. So we are 1 step down, or a half step down from standard tuning. And then you capo on the 3rd fret, which honestly is the same thing as just being in standard tuning and capoing on the 1st fret. So all of these chords that I'm about to show you, I would suggest don't bother with the tuning and just capo on the 2nd fret, but this is what they're doing for those interested. The first chord is going to be an E minor. You can see Nathaniel Rateliff making it with 2 fingers, his 1st finger on the 5th string 2nd fret relative to our capo, and 2nd finger on the 4th string 2nd fret relative to the capo. I tend to make my E minor with my 2nd finger and 3rd fingers, same chord, but Nathaniel's making it with his first 2 fingers. So the first chord is an E minor. The 2nd chord then goes to a G, where you'll see Nathaniel take his ring finger, put it on the 6th string 3rd fret, and his 2nd finger will go on the 5th string 2nd fret. That's going to be his G chord, and you're just going to kind of strum across the 6th string to the 4th string. You're not going to want to emphasize the top 2 strings in this G, just 6 through 4. And then the 3rd chord of the verse is a C chord, where it's a 4-fingered C chord that he's making with the ring finger on the 6th string 3rd fret, pinky finger on the 5th string 3rd fret, 2nd finger on the 4th string 2nd fret, 1st finger on the 2nd string 1st fret, and strumming through all of that. Those are the verse chords: E minor to a G to a C. Now, in doing this, to get the feel and the sound that the acoustic guitar is getting, and really the feel of the entire song, this is the strumming pattern that he's doing through the whole thing. And to get some of the muting is coming from your palm. If you lay your palm across the strings as you're strumming through the chords with this strumming pattern right here. But another aspect of getting this tone is that as you're fretting the chords, you're going to be lifting up and re-fretting like that right there almost the entire time. And this is happening kind of in tandem with the strumming, with the strumming that you've got going on down here. So notice how my fingers, you can hear that E minor chord even without me strumming. Then the G, you can hear that G without me strumming, and then the C, you can hear the C without me strumming. So that is an aspect to how you're going to get the feel as well, is that there's a progressive beat going on with your left hand as you move through these chords that is happening in unison with the strumming. And you need the strum just as much as you need the hammer-ons that are going on with your left hand. Like, both of them just by themselves don't give you anything. You need to get them to both blend together. So hopefully you can listen along with that and play along with the album and get that rhythm down. Now whenever it goes to the chorus is going to be a G chord. Standard G chord. Ring finger goes to the 6th string 3rd fret. Second finger goes to the 5th string 2nd fret. Pinky finger comes back to the 1st string 3rd fret is the way that he's making this G chord. Everything that I haven't just mentioned fretting is going to be open. Of course, you can make your G chord this way or even that way if you want to, but this is the way that he is making it. After the G of the chorus, it goes to the 4-fingered C chord, which is, and you may hear him lifting up his 2nd finger at times to expose the open 4th string and then hammering back down into it. But that is the whole chorus, is a G to a C, back down to the G, and it does that for like 4 runs, and that's the chorus. Then it goes back into the verse of E minor, G, and C with a okay. The bridge, whenever you get to the bridge, you're going to play what is respective to our capo, a B7. The way that you're going to make this is you're going to take your 2nd finger and put it on the 5th string 2nd fret. You're going to put your 1st finger on the 4th string 1st fret. And you're going to put your 3rd finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret. And you're going to strum from your 5th string down to the 2nd string. And it's not going to be open. It's going to be that same kind of palm muted and hammered on with your left hand feel. So that's first chord, is this B7. It goes from the B back into the 4-fingered C that we looked at earlier. Back to the B, to the C. And it does this for a couple times, and then it slides this C formation up to a D. It's a 4-fingered C formation, or D chord that's still in your C formation of fingers. So take your C chord and move it up 2 frets. 1, 2. And that's your D chord that it goes into in the bridge. So you've got a B, you've got a C, B, C. And then after it does that like 3 or 4 times, it then slides up into the D, back down to the C, and holds on the C before going into the final chorus of G, into the C, so that is the chorus. Now, after the last chorus, it goes into a quicker G and C where he is singing "You Worry Me." So it's basically playing the G-C split twice as fast as you would be during the standard chorus, and you can listen to the album to hear that. The electric part of this song is a half step down tuning wise as well, but involves no capo. And what I'm going to be showing you is pieced together from live performances where I feel like I can tell roughly what the lead guitar player is doing. You're going to put your ring finger on the 4th string 5th fret. You're going to put your pinky finger on the 3rd string 5th fret. And you're going to put your 1st finger down on the 3rd string, or 3rd string 3rd fret. And yes, you will have 2 fingers on the same string fretting 2 different frets, and that's because after you pluck what you've got with your ring finger and your pinky finger together, or after you strike it with your pick, you're going to pull off with your pinky, exposing the note that you've got fretted with your 1st finger. And that's hard to get clean, especially with a pick. You're going to have to practice that a lot, probably, or at least I had to practice it a lot to get it anywhere close to clean, because what your fingers are going to want to do is accidentally hit this open B, which is not going to sound good, or accidentally hit this open A, which is not going to sound good. So as much as you can, you might want to kind of reach your thumb around and kind of let your other fingers get fat and lazy on the strings that you don't want to ring out, so that the only strings that are ringing out this entire time are the fourth string and the third string that you are specifically fretting. So the first movement again, and you're performing that with a pick. The second one, you're going to put your pinky finger back down on the third string, fifth fret where it was. Your first finger is going to bar across the fourth and third strings on the third fret. So you're fretting the fourth string, third fret, and your first finger will also be barred on this note that earlier your first finger was holding down, the third string, third fret. You're going to strike these two notes, and then you're going to pull off again with your pinky finger to get that same feel. So you've got the first movement, second movement, and then the third movement, you've got this bar right here where you've got the fourth string and the third string barred with your first finger against the third fret. So that's the beginning of the third movement, is you're plucking the third and fourth string there. And then take your ring finger or your pinky finger and hammer it down onto the fourth string, fifth fret. Again, this might be hard to get clean because, again, what you're not wanting to have happen is the open A ring out, which is real easy to accidentally hit. That's not a good sound. You don't want that. You've got to be very clean with just the third and fourth string. And then hammering down just to the fourth string, fifth fret, which again is kind of difficult to get clean. And those are happening on upbeats, kind of short pickup notes into the downbeat of every chord change that is happening on acoustic guitar. So work on those movements. Work on those movements along with the recording, and focus on getting it clean and getting it in timing with the rest of the band that's playing. As far as the chorus goes, it seems like the electric guitar is basically just playing a supportive role with the chords. You're going to come down here to the sixth fret and make a bar chord, standard bar chord, first finger barring across the sixth fret, ring finger on the fifth string, eighth fret, pinky finger on the fourth string, eighth fret, second finger on the third string, seventh fret, and then barring the rest of the way. That's the relative G chord that your acoustic would be playing fretted on the capoed on the third fret. So you've got that chord, and then you play the power chord right behind it that moves down a set of strings. I've got my first finger on the fifth string, seventh fret, and then pinky finger barring the ninth fret here. I'm sorry, first finger on the fifth string, sixth fret, and then my pinky finger barring the eighth fret along the fourth, third, and second strings. And then you hear the electric following up as the rest of the band is kind of playing this ascending melody, and the piano is ascending the movement up. The guitarist comes up and does this. The way that you play that is you bring your first finger up to the, what is this, the eighth fret of the eighth fret of the fourth string, first finger. Put your ring finger down on the 10th fret of the third string, pinky finger down on the 10th fret of the second string. So you've got 3 strings that you're playing, which actually, as I'm playing, it sounds like the first notes of a Blink-182 song. Okay, that's beside the point. So that's the first movement as the rest of the band is kind of ascending up. And you take your pinky finger and you slide it up 1 fret after that to the second string, 11th fret. From second string, 10th fret to second string, 11th fret. And in this chord, you're just playing the fourth, third, and second string. So again, the chorus would be bar chord, power chord, and then at the end of the song, where the band and the acoustic guitar is just playing the 1 and 4, the electric guitar is doing the same thing between those first two chord movements of the chorus, where he's singing the lyrics over that last refrain. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how to approach the acoustic and the electric parts to this song.